What's up, y'all? Talon here. Today I'm back with another series of ranked battles featuring top teams in the Regulation F minigame. Today I have a team that was created by Dareth96 to get 25th place at the European International Championships, the largest international of all time. So really incredible team from him, and especially to do it with such a weird composition of Pokemon that we're not used to seeing is just a huge accomplishment. So congratulations to them. If you want to use the team for yourself, I have the Pokepaste in the description and the rental code in the top right of the video, both provided by Dareth himself. So this is the accurate recreation of the team. So if you want to use the team, yeah, check those out. If you want to follow Dareth on Twitter, definitely worth a follow. Have that in the description as well. And if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to the channel. With all that being said, let's get into a breakdown of this team now. So looking at this team, it definitely feels more like a best of one close team sheet team, but it was able to succeed extremely well in the best of 3 format. I'm not sure if it was an 8-1 or a 7-2 day 1 performance, but it was an 11-4 finish overall, so very consistent in best of 3. The Moltres is unlike the nasty plot citrus berry ones that try and take advantage of the berserk and general bulk of Moltres. He's just going straight power with Choice Specs, Terra Dark, Fiery Wrath, Dark Pulse, definitely lots of opportunities to flinch, Air Slash as well. Then U-turn to pivot out. Amogus is pretty cool. It's a very specially defensive one, going Ockerberry to live the physical attacks from the Incineroars and the Ogerpon Heart Flame form, and just indexing on the special defense to tank other hits and get spores off and Pollen Puff the rest of the team. Pollen Puff has good synergy with Berserk Moltres because it can go below 50% HP, get the Berserk, and then Pollen Puff back up and kind of just be, reset that cycle a bunch of times. So very cool there. Bronzong is probably the most interesting Pokemon on this team. Really few people using this Pokemon in the format, but Iron Defense Body Press in general has a solid matchup into things like the Rillaboom, Incineroar, Chien-Pao, Urshifu cores. Well, not really the Urshifu part, but the Terrifier Bronzong with Iron Defense Body Press completely walls those guys out and gets a ton of damage with Body Press. You also have Trick Room to support the rest of the team, and then Gyro Ball to be hitting things like Flutter Mane that Body Press otherwise can't hit super effectively. Cornerstone Mask is a pretty speedy Pokemon here, but it is on a Trick Room team. That tends to be where we see the Ogerpons, is kind of just as a mix-up lead on these weirder Trick Room teams where you have the option to just go offensive with it or go for the Follow Me and just guarantee Trick Room with the sturdy Follow Me. Very cool Pokemon there. And then Okidogi, we did see another Okidogi get top 8. Diego, he was able to do that, but this one, I think it's actually the same set. I'm not sure about knockoff, but otherwise should be the same. Taking advantage of Assault Vest to boost Okidogi's weaker special defense while taking advantage of its high HP and defense stat. And then going for things like Gunk Shot, Drain Punch knockoff, just generally solid utility moves, and then Upper Hand to deny any fake out pressure, which is really cool. It's just a very solid answer to Incineroar, both on the field, like they can intimidate and switch in. Otherwise, they'll give you the Guard Dog boost, and you can also just Upper Hand to stop any fake out. If they're going to try and cheeky and get the Intimidate in and just fake out to immobilize you, they can't really do that because you will be getting a strong Upper Hand off. Grimmsnarl is the last Pokemon on the team, and it really is the glue that holds everything together. So lots of bulky Pokemon in this team, so you can support that even further with Reflect, Light Screen, and then Spirit Break with the additional, huge damage of Spirit Break as well. Then Thunder Wave really takes advantage of Moltres' its toolkit having a lot of flinch capacity, so you can go for Thunder Wave, slow things down that Moltres would otherwise not be able to outspeed, and then go for Paraflinches as well. So yeah, tons of synergy on this team. Excited to be trying it out for myself. Again, if you want to use the team for yourself, rental code in the top right of the video, Pokepaste in the description, follow Dareth on Twitter, and if you enjoy these team breakdowns, the battles, please subscribe to the channel. With all that being said, let's get into those battles now.
Okay, interesting team from my opponent. They have Executor, Flutter Mane, Incineroar, Gouging Fire, Torkoal, and Tornadus. Very interesting team from them. I do feel like this is a solid Moltres game. Like I can lock into Terra Dark, lose the weakness to Thunderclap, and just really tear a hole in them, I feel like. Outside of Incineroar, Flutter Mane, I feel like that's very strong. And if they lead that, then what do I want to do? I could go for Light Screen, but I can't really stop them from going for the Dazzling Gleam option. I can't, I have to make a read on if it's Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam, and then I can either switch or go for Thunder Wave. I don't know. But I feel like Grimmsnarl, decent lead against a lot of their stuff. Okidogi maybe a little bit better. And then Backmon. Bronzong's out this game, I think. Amogus is very strong overall. I feel like I could get screens up pretty effectively. Unless they lead Incin Flutter, which I think is reasonably likely, so I'm gonna account for that. Alkaberry, very excellent this game, and I think last mon, Bronzong's out, so it's just Grimmsnarl or Ogerpon. A lot of fire types on their team, a lot of stuff that would not appreciate getting Ivy cudgeled, I think, so I'm gonna go with that. If they're not max speed Torn, if they don't have Tailwind up later in the game, I can clean that up. Fluttermane goes down, Incineroar, Torkoal don't love taking Ivy Cudgels, Exeggutor doesn't love getting Sleep Powder Follow Meat away, and then Thunderclap getting Follow Meat away, not ideal for Raging Bolt either, so I think that's definitely the right bring. So Torn Raging Bolt is their lead, kind of not what I was expecting, but at the same time, a pretty solid opportunity to go for Terra Dark, Fiery Wrath pretty safely. And yeah, I am susceptible to getting knocked out on this Okidogi, truthfully, which I don't love. Like, I'd imagine... Actually, I should take Drain Punch. I should take, I think, Bleak Wind plus... The only question is, do I preserve Amoonguss? I guess. I think I want to get after a knockout on the Torn. So I'm going to go for a knockoff Terra Dark Choice Specs Fire Wrath. This should knock out anything that's not Focus Sash or bring it low enough for a knockoff KO, and I don't think a Terra Dark is likely from them. Which would be an excellent play in this situation. Uh-oh. Terra Dark, reasonably, or a Terra Fairy, reasonably likely on the Moltres, but that's why I went for a knockoff instead of a Drain Punch or Electric. Okay. That's why we went for the Terra Dark, of course. They're doubling up with Bleak Wind. If they get a speed drop, that could be annoying. That is one reason why you can use that move. They double drop us. Cool, cool, cool. Exciting. And they're probably going to get a knockoff off that. Okay. That's annoying because Okidogi is naturally faster than most Raging Bolt. So that's really unfortunate double drop there, especially when if we hit first, we could flinch them. So that's obviously not great. But at the same time, what are they going to do about this? I think if they were no bulk, max speed, they would have dropped that to that. I think Amoonguss is not bad here if they had not dropped me, but they did drop me. So, not ideal. I think I'm going to go Ogerpon. Because if they didn't, I could have just gone for a... Yeah, that's super annoying. I think I will not tank a Thunderbolt on the Moltres still. Which is frustrating because now I have to make a read on Bleak Wind or not. Yeah, that's just an unfortunate occurrence there. Yeah, that's really bad. Because otherwise, it would make it really easy for me to just Fiery Wrath, follow me here pretty consistently and take a double knockout, but now I kind of have to play around. Like, I could still take the double knockout, but then I lose one of my Pokemon, which is not great. So I think I'm going to bank on them being cheeky and not going for Tailwind. And they protect the Bolt, which is kind of indicative to me that they might have gone for that. Yeah, Sunny Day. Okay, fair enough. That's fine. They're going to get the Synthesis, of course, which is annoying, but not the end of the world. That speed drop was a killer, man. Yeah, we do knock them out before they get Tailwind up, so if we switch out the Moltres, we will be able to outspeed them in the future, which I think is good. And they probably bring in Flutter here, I'd imagine. Maybe Exeggutor, that's possible. But I think Amoonguss is pretty well primed right now. God, that was so unfortunate the first turn. Because if I can knock out the Torn, they don't get Sunny Day up. Or alternatively, I could... Okay, there's Eggy. That's totally fine, actually. I'm going to switch out into... I guess that could be Weather Ball Eggy, which would be annoying for sure. But they didn't get Tailwind up. Can I not just... Fiery Wrath? Follow me? Am I missing something here? Yeah, they had to bring in... I thought Fluttermane was super free there. They can't avoid following me. They'd have to be Electro Web here, and I don't think that knocks me out. Yeah, they leave their Eggy susceptible, so I could have gone for a knockout into the Raging Bolt that turn with Ivy Cudgel. Didn't go for it. They Thunderbolt. Yep. Yeah, but that's why that speed drop in the Moltres was so devastating. Because I would have been able to... Are you going to para me too? No? Okay. Seems illegitimate. Feel like they should have parried me, but okay. I think this is fine still. If it's Instant in the back, is that an issue? I don't know. Maybe. Worth noting, Executor does learn Trick Room and Sleep Powder, so things could get dicey if they set that up on me. And they knock out a Mungus on switch in. Especially Torkoal. Okay. I don't believe Executor learns after you. I'm not certain, though. They never got Tailwind up. Surely they are not max speed on Moltres. Surely they're not max speed Torkoal, right? I feel like we just double knockout here. They protect the Torkoal, totally fair, which will give them the option to what? Knock out my this with Sledge Bomb or Psychic, actually. Oh, they're going for Trick Room. Yeah, just like we thought. I think that's fine, though. Might not be great if they live this, though. Yeah, they don't. Okay, cool. Choice Specs. Yeah, if they had been Focus Sash, that would have been so crazy. Okay. So that could have been an option to maybe switch into the... Oh, such a close battle. I think that would have been a potential turn to get the Amoonguss in on something. But if they are Specs or something, I think that's also pretty bad for me, so I don't know. Gosh, good game. But yeah, we were finally able to get a really solid game with the Moltres, even though it was... it got dropped. We still had the redirection and the support on the team to let the Choice Specs Moltres shine, even when it wasn't moving faster than all the like mid-speed tier Pokemon, which is one of the main benefits of it. So just really, I think, lending credence to how good the Moltres is, just the bulk and power is sometimes enough, even without the speed. So really impressive game from the Moltres, even though it was not getting a lot of good rolls in its favor. Okay, cool team from my opponent. They have actually a lot of similar components to the team that got top 8 at the UIC, the Chinpao Dragonite, Dondozo, Tinglu, Gouging Fire team, but instead of those Pokemon, they have Sinistra, or a Polti guy, I think it's Sinistra, the fully evolved one, and then the Galarian Zapdos. So I don't have Intimidate on this team, so I'm not so stressed about that, but definitely have a lot of bulk on their side, and the Tinglu is of course a concern as well. I feel like Rage Powder Sinistra, outside of that, I can Bronzong all over them, and I don't really see a lot they can do about it. Like really very little they can do to handle that. So I think what I might do is lead a bit aggressively here. Is that... that's probably inadvisable. Yeah. A lot of routes this could take. I think Gouging Fire is reasonably likely. I think I can kind of set up on them, though. Okidogi in the back seems consistent for me, and then I will also bring the Moltres. Yeah, haven't opted for the Trick Room mode here, but against a team like this, even though it is relatively slow, they also didn't have a lot to threaten my Bronzong once I get in Iron Defense up. So I feel reasonably good about this. Like, outside of a taunt on the Tinglu, we should be chilling. And I think they'd also need to lead, like, something that threatens a 1-hit KO on the Amoonguss plus Tinglu, which isn't a lot. It's like 2 Pokemon. Yeah, that's not one of them. So, this is fine. I actually feel really solid about this lead because we can go for a Trick Room Spore with near impunity because of the Aqua Berry. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to go for. Let me check the weight of Bronzong. I imagine Heat Crash doesn't do a lot of damage to us. Oh, interesting. Gouging Fire is an 80 base power move against us here, but most likely isn't going to do that much damage to us. Probably should just Terrafire right off the bat, but I think I'll get greedy here and I won't, because I think they're gonna Howl here. Could be Choice Band. Oh, okay. Choice Band Throat Chop could actually spell disaster. Yikes. Okay. Great play. Now it just depends on their item on the Tinglu, actually. Is that Choice Band? I feel like it might be. No, would that... I feel like Choice Band would probably KO me. How much from an AV Tinglu is with Throat Chop? That's a cool strategy, no doubt. That's actually probably AV. So I think my play is just go Iron Defense. Probably Terrafire. I should have Terrafired last turn, but I didn't. Which is my bad, of course, but... yeah, I don't want to get crit here, so I think I will Terrafire. Pollen Puff myself. I think that's low risk. And I'm doing this because, like, yes, I could get cheeky, go for the Spore this turn. But if they are Safety Goggles, if they are Terra Grass, they can still Throat Chop me. And even though I don't know, like, we might just barely live after the Iron Defense, I'm not certain about it. So Pollen Puff, Terrafire, much safer. We still have Levitate, so they'd have to get rid of our ability somehow to hit us hard. So we are kind of cooking now. Cooking with gas in this kitchen, for sure. Yep, there is the Throat Chop. Would have knocked us out, actually. But at this point, we can go for another Iron Defense and also Spore the Tinglu. I don't know if that's necessary yet to go for the Spore. Might not be. Definitely could be unnecessary. I think Iron Defense, again, gets me all the damage I need to, like, really handle this battle well. Iron Defense, Spore seems solid. They could switch out into the Sinistra at this point. But yeah, I think we are well primed on this Trick Room lead to do well. They'd have to wake up with the Gouging Fire this turn. They end up not being Safety Goggles, so if they're Lumberry, they could wake up here, but if not, they are a Sitting Duck on the next turn. Yeah, that's really good. So we are getting... oh, that's really bad for them. Yeah, this is like the power of this lead. Oh no. Never mind, they do wake up. That's pretty good for them. But maybe actually not that good because of the Ocberry. Do we live this at +1? Ooh, we do. That's actually disastrous for them. They have to be Protect Gouging Fire to live this hit. Because... or not to live this hit, but they have to be Protect to not get Spored this turn. Otherwise, we just go for this play, and there's not a whole lot they can do about it. Like, they can't even go for Protect, wake up with the Tinglu, tear the Tinglu, knock out the Amoonguss, because, again, Burning Bulwark does not protect against status moves, so they just had no option there, really. A friend of mine ran Protect, actually, on the... yeah, that's a one-hit knockout. Heck yeah, Bronzong. Finally having a game for us. So one of the difficulties with... yeah, the Burning Bulwark is exactly this. You are susceptible to status. So one of my friends actually at a regional ran Protect, Rogov. So I don't remember how he did that regional, or how they did, but yeah, definitely an option that some players are considering just exactly because of this situation. Could Spore here. I feel like Iron Defense is reasonably solid as well. Nah, let's just go... Body Press, Pollen Puff. I think the HP is more valuable. Yep, they do detect on the Galarian Zapdos, which is fine by me. And they don't protect on the Gouging Fire, so we're going to do close to 80%, I think, with this Body Press. Oh yeah, great damage. So at this point, they need to be Roar on this guy to have any chance, I think. But I think we can just go for this option. Rage Powder, Trick Room, start the cycle again. Yeah, because they are the speed booster on the Gouging Fire, they never switched out. They have to attack my Amoonguss first, and their Galarian Zapdos essentially needs to crit through the... Yeah, that doesn't seem right. Yeah, that's not going to do it, I don't think. I'm not really sure what their angle is there. But I think Zapdos has to knock out my my Bronzong here with a critical hit close combat or something, or a Brave Bird. Ooh, Breaking Swipe's interesting. Yep, so they do find a cute way by waking up to get around my Rage Powder, but that it really is just a little bit of chip damage. They still need to crit me. Thunderous Kick, even with a crit, shouldn't knock me out, though. Yeah, that's doing pitiful damage. Just the Pollen Puffs over the course of the game prove to be really difficult for them, but they do lower my defense, which also lowers my offense. But I think at this point, they just burn their Terra. I think Gyro Ball still should knock them out. I feel solid about this overall still. Okidogi, I have to go for Gunk Shot, which is less accurate than the Air Slash, so I'm going to go into the Bronzong. Gyro Ball, this guy, I think that's going to be a knockout, given their speed. And go for an Air Slash. Could miss this, but again, I think they need to get a lot of crits with the Zapdos to beat my Bronzong. So I think the odds are definitely in my favor in this endgame, especially with 4 turns of Trick Room left. They could start going for Burning Bulwark, but we do have the Terrifier to get around that, so we're not really going to be susceptible to the burning after effect or secondary effect of the Burning Bulwark, but they will be able to stall turns, which is, of course, valuable. But I think any Trick Room team were able to get one Trick Room up and come out of it with your Trick Room setter and basically Sweeper, still at full HP, and then get it up again. It's just really potent. It's a really potent team building mode and just option for you to have against your opponent. And I think we executed it pretty much flawlessly here. Yeah, taking 2 KOs on this first turn of Trick Room. Iron Defense made them a little scared to go for a Double Protect, which would otherwise be pretty free. And now we just kind of lock it up. Yeah, definitely an example of, even though it was a Tinglu, which isn't that common, they still had an option to potentially one-hit KO my Bronzong, so misplayed the first turn by not going for the immediate Terrifier, which was greedy, but in spite of that, we're still able to take it pretty confidently, just off the strength of the Bronzong set. Okay, our opponent here has an interesting team. They have Whimsicott, Amoonguss, Ursaluna Blood Moon, Urshifu, Gouging Fire, and Rotom W. I haven't seen a lot of Rotom Wash in the near, or recently, rather. I feel like Urshifu, like if I can get screens up, light screen, I just beat the bear with Moltres, like, easy. I do think Amoonguss is quite strong here against their whole team with Grimmsnarl support. I might save that for the back, though. It's not necessary to execute that early, I think. I think Ogerpon's a solid lead here. I like Moltres in the back. It just deals really solid damage to their whole team. And I think Amoonguss does the trick here. I think we can really leverage the Aqua Berry to good effect. I think Bronzong is a little weak to their... like if I have to Terra in front of their Urshifu, or I guess it would really just be the Urshifu I would Terra in front of if they are a Dark type one, which I could see. I feel like they... Given the Rotom W on the team, it's more likely to be the Dark-type Urshifu. So if I'm forced to Terra in front of that, suddenly Blood Moon from Ursaluna becomes a big issue out of Trick Room. So I don't want to have to worry about that. Rotom W as well, also an issue. And Spore Amoonguss, just lots of things that could go wrong. Also worth noting, Whimsicott does learn Trick Room, so there could be a Tail Room combination here. Like Amoonguss, Whimsicott, Tailwind, Trick Room could be interesting. Like they have a min speed, choice banded Urshifu. There's a lot of weird stuff they could be doing on this team, so we have to be wary of that and cover as much as we can in the game plan, which definitely softens us against like other options they could have. But I think in best of one, covering as much as you can is worth it sometimes, just so you don't get caught with your pants down against a unexpected strategy. Okay. Gouging Fire, Rotom, not necessarily what I expected, but also pretty solid. I don't think that learns Will-O-Wisp, so I'm going to go right for a... just a Reflect. They could be Ivy Cudgel or something like that, for sure. I don't want to get... I think Gouging Fire is just offering more damage off the bat. I think a Terra Steel on the Rotom would be reasonable here because I can just knock that out with Power Whip. We do see Protect from the Burning from that guy. Worth noting, we could have Thunder Waved them there through the Burning Bulwark. It doesn't protect against status moves. Yeah, and it was the Rotom going on the offensive, which is kind of interesting to me, given we could have Power Whipped. But they go for WoW. Okay. Bit of a weird play. I think given that I can delay my light screen a turn, they have to Terra their Rotom, and given they didn't do that last turn, yeah, they're switching out that's who they're afraid of, getting Ivy Cudgeled. Something the Recluse is coming in, and it is getting Thunder Wave, which is super high value on Amoonguss. If you can stop Spores, stop Rage Powders just on a random basis throughout the battle, that is valuable. You new school kids don't know anything about Thunder Wave. It's just such a good move over the course of the battle, and yeah, we just knocked them out with Power Whip. I think Thunder Wave with the accuracy drop, with just the benefit of dynamic speed control, like the boon it's given to Tailwind archetypes, we've kind of forgotten how good the paralysis status condition can be, but I think this is one of the few teams in Regulation F and like Scarlet and Violet in general that has really taken advantage of that to good effect. Grimmsnarl, one of the best Pokemon at doing that, aside from Thundurus, of course. They have to be Choice Scarf. That is the water type. Yeah, it is. Do I have a switch in for that? Not really. No, I totally do, actually. Let's not be silly. Yeah, it's a weird spot, but I do feel like I don't need to get too tricky with it, I don't think. I am putting myself into a very passive position here by switching into my Amoonguss and having Grimmsnarl in the field, but it's better than taking a Terra Water Surging Strikes and losing my... Okay, they were Detect, fair enough. So we could have just attacked and stayed in with the Ogerpon, but I definitely think in the face of a potential Choice Scarf Urshifu, switching out into Amoonguss is the right play. And as I was saying, I was calling my shot a little bit with the paralysis earlier on, but yeah, Amoonguss, one of the most disappointing Pokemon to have paralyzed because it sticks on the field so long, and the impact it can have, and those paralyses can have, is just so huge. At this point, I feel solid about... Well, if they're Goggles, that could be a concern. If I just like sack my Ogerpon here, so I'm not going to do that. I think I will just go for a Spirit Break Spore. I don't think there's much risk in doing that. And the reason I'm not switching out into Ogerpon here is if they are Safety Goggles or Terra Grass, things get a little tricky where, yes, I could sacrifice, on the assumption that they are not Safety Goggles, I can sack my Ogerpon because whatever, I can just lock into my Moltres later in the battle, but there's no reason to do that given the offensive pressure that the Urshifu is offering right now. If they do have one of those off-meta options, they can potentially just ignore my Amoonguss and sweep the rest of my Pokemon if they play the game right, and I just want to avoid that, essentially. And at this point, switching into the Ogerpon is pretty free. Best thing they can... no, Pollen Puffing myself is wrong here because they are slower with the Amoonguss. So I think their best play is either Pollen Puff themselves, Pollen Puff my Grimmsnarl slot, or Spore my Grimmsnarl slot. This play covers two of those, and I kind of forgot that they are slower on the Amoonguss, so there's no guarantee... Like, I'm not going to be healing anything no matter what, but they get paralyzed anyway, so... At this point, this is looking pretty solid, because what I can do is Ivy Cudgel. If they wake up and Burning Bulwark, we do just Spore through that. So bringing Amoonguss against this team, I think, was probably inadvisable, especially with all the Pokemon being potentially one-hit KO'd by my Ogerpon, so I think a misstep on their part, and we absolutely capitalize on it with our Ogerpon Cornerstone really taking a decisive game against them. Could have gone differently if we missed the Power Whip turn one. That's one of those situations where, I don't know, it's hard to say between Power Whip and Woodhammer. I think on Cornerstone, it's probably just correct to go for the... Okay, they get the Poison, which Fair enough. But we can't always Pollen Puff that away, so not a big deal. I think on Cornerstone, Power Whip is correct because you don't want to break Sturdy. But, yeah. At this point, we could Terra Rock. That'd be funny. Yeah, I kind of want to Terra Rock, actually. And the reason I'm doing this is because I think their play is probably to switch out the Urshifu into the Burning or the Gouging Fire. But if they don't, I would like to be 2 at KOing them with the Ivy Cudgel so I don't have to like worry about much. And what this does is I have Reflect up, I have a +1 defense boost up. They can no longer Spore me because they poisoned me. So now I can just like freely Pollen Puff myself up back to near full. Sludge Bomb is now going to do less damage because I've gotten rid of my Grass type. And we cover the Gouging Fire switch in. We cover them not... we cover them staying in with the Urshifu because we 2 at KO them. So yeah, pretty happy with this play actually. The one caveat is this turn if... actually, was this a throw? Probably. Because if they had stayed in, then the young Amoonguss is a little annoying. It doesn't really matter because I can always just... I'm taking so little damage, I can always Rage Powder away the Urshifu's damage, so... Yes, if they stay in, I only get the 2 at KO on them, but then I can just Rage Powder away their Surging Strikes. I can start Ivy Cudgeling the Amoonguss. I think that was still a pretty solid play for me. And now at this point, we can just go for Ivy Cudgel. Urshifu can't wake up. We're kind of chilling on that regard. Urshifu cannot wake up, I believe. Yeah, they do cancel out, so good game to them. Glad we got to show off the mask. You rarely do get to show off the terrestrialization on the Ogerpon, but I am glad that we got to here, even though it might not have been, you know, there are some gaps in there. There's some potential opportunities for that to go bad, but I don't think they were super significant. It was kind of like a lateral play, even though it looked cool. But yeah, maybe to my horn a little too hard on that, but I enjoyed it. So that's what matters sometimes, just having fun while you're battling. Okay. What looks kind of like a older but standard team from my opponent. They have Fluttermane, Ogerpon. So we have a team from my opponent with Ogerpon, Wellspring, Fluttermane, Tornadus, Incineroar, Urshifu, and the Blood Moon Ursaluna. Likely a Wicked Blow Ursh, which is annoying but bearable. Haha, get it? 2 bears on the team. Anyways, Oga Berry most likely not going to be so useful this battle. I could see Bronzong being decent here, actually. With... I could actually see that being pretty good. I might commit to that. Yeah, I like Bronzong plus young Ivy Cudgel here a lot. Yeah, that seems solid to me. They'd have to lead Incin, Flutter to have a great option, I guess. I guess Incin... Urshifu would be annoying as well. I think Moltres is a solid lead. Does a ton of damage. I want to commit to the Bronzong in the back to get that going. I also think the Okidogi is quite strong here. I want Bronzong in the back. And then last, I think I will go with the Amoonguss, just defensively seems solid. But yeah, I'm not sure if Incin is a good bring for them. But if they do bring that, Terra Ghost could be an issue if I let the Moltres go early, which I probably will. Knowing their Terra type on the Incin would be good, because I do think Safety Goggles Terra Ghost could be an issue. I guess I can still Gyro Ball that. I don't know. We'll see. They need knockoff Safety Goggles and Terra Ghost, and not all of them have that. A lot of them do, but yeah, Incin, Urshifu. I'm very glad I led the Okidogi here. Very, very glad. They're not threatening a lot of damage onto me by any means on the Okidogi. I think I have a fairly free switch into the Amoonguss here. And a... probably just Drain Punch into... Oh, knockoff could be high value though. Upper Hand as well could be cool. Should I Upper Hand them? Probably, right? The issue is I take a pretty strong CC. So maybe not. I kind of want to go for it, but I don't think I get a ton of value. When I can just go for a knockoff this turn in case they Terra Ghost. And if I can knock off their safety goggles, that's also pretty high value. So I think that's a play I'm reasonably happy with. I don't think Wicked Blow is likely into my Amoonguss slot. But yeah, they detect. Okay. So probably could have... Yeah, could have gone for a Drain Punch and maybe taken a knockout. We'll see their item here. It was a V. Okay, yeah. That's my bad. Flare Blitz into the Okidogi is interesting. I don't think it's gets them anywhere. Because now I can just go for... Pollen Puff. I feel like AV is quite unlikely to be anything but... Gunk Shot is my safest play here. Just in terms of them terastallizing. But I think it's my not as good of a play if they... Yeah, they don't nearly knock me out with the Wicked Blow, which I'm happy about. But I think on Assault Vest, it's more likely to be Terra Grass Incineroar, which I think Drain Punch covers for. I think I heal enough with the Guard Dog boost to... Yeah, to live another Flare Blitz. It would have been close. I would have needed to knock out with the Drain Punch, but I think I probably get there, given the knockoff damage. And we Pollen Puff back up to full. And this is the value of the Okidogi Amoonguss combo. Just the Okidogi in general. If you don't lead with immediate pressure into it, you get knockoffs off, you just continually heal, you're chipping away at the opponent, and they can't intimidate you, they can't apply priority to you consistently, so it's a really solid Pokemon. Glad towards the end of the series we got to see it kind of pop off a bit. At this point, how fast is our Amoonguss? 31 speed, okay. Well, I should be able to outspeed that guy anyways. I'm tempted to knock off. Very tempted. I think Drain Punch is probably better here. Yeah, I think a Rage Powder is safe. Detect, I don't want to really bite into. They are Tailwind on this, so maybe that's an issue. Tell you what, I'm going to Spore actually and Drain Punch the Urshifu because I think Protect... Oh, they're switching. Okay. Might have actually gotten destroyed here if they switch into Flutter. Okay. It is Ogerpon though, so that's fine. They do protect the Ursaluna, so a Rage Powder... The play still is better than a Rage Powder Drain Punch into the Ursa, but yeah, now we're 2-hit KOing them, which is good. And we're in a spot where we can just Drain Punch Spore the Ursa. And we don't have to worry too much. I could Rage Powder though. That's probably safer. It just certainly is. My only worry is Terra Ghost Ursaluna, but I feel like on a team like this, they would be Terra Normal. If they are Terra Normal, what's the worst that can happen? They can knock out my Amoonguss, in which case I get a Drain Punch. If they are Terra Ghost, they can... Yeah, what I don't want to bite into is a Terra Normal Hyper Voice plus Ivy Cudgel knocking out my Okidogi. So I'm going to Spore, Drain Punch. Okay, yep. This also covers for that, which is why I wanted to not Rage Powder. So we're going to Drain Punch. We're going to knock out the Ogerpon. We don't have to risk a Gunk Shot like we would have if we had not Drain Punched the previous turn, so pretty happy about that sequencing. And now they have to Blood Moon knock out my Amoonguss, which they definitely won't do because we're Sassy 252 special defense. They also were Life Orb. We get the Spore. Actually pretty happy about how this battle has turned out in terms of just like the turn-by-turn play. I don't think we missed a turn, truthfully. I think we played every turn close to as well as we could have. While also covering a majority of their options. So now we just Rage Powder. They'd have to be Terra Grass, which... You know, could be the case, but I don't think is likely. If they are Terra Grass, could we lose the game? If they are Terra Grass, can we lose this game? If they're Terra Grass, between Spore is inconsequential, so I'd have to Pollen Puff them, which I think is wrong. So I think I'll bank on them not being that, given they were played so switch heavy against the Amoonguss once I brought it in. And yeah, no Goggles, no Terra Grass. They do a lot with the Wicked Blow, honestly. I wonder if that's choice banded, or we're just so weak on the Amogus defensively. But yeah, we grab that Guard Dog boost turn 1, and we keep healing the Okidogi back, and they just have no answer to it. So didn't get to see the Bronzong Shine, but the Okidogi, surprisingly, that was a really strong answer against this hyper-offensive Tailwind team. At this point, we can just Spore, Drain Punch, but I really expect a forfeit. Yeah, they do cancel out, so good game to my opponent. I think the Okidogi was just not something they were expecting on lead. And given they did, we just gotten such a huge lead, and we didn't upper hand, we didn't bite into the fake out trap, and because of that, we just kept extending our lead by going for consistent plays that really weren't super read heavy, but trying to cover the majority of options, which ended up being a sound game plan for us. Okay, another Okidogi from my opponent. So Okidogi, Ogerpon Wellspring, Galarian Articuno, so kind of similar to our team in a lot of ways. Zapdos, the Dragapult, and Incineroar. I feel like Incin, pretty bad bring from them, but Ogerpon on our side could be really good. I want to set up Light Screen. Truthfully, I think that's super high value against their team. I think given all the flying types, Ogerpon is super solid for us here. Should I go Amogus? Maybe. I could see that being solid. I think Amogus is quite good against a lot of their team. Just not all of it. I think Okaberry could be solid though. I want Ogerpon in the back for sure. And then I think I will bring the... maybe the Grimmsnarl in the back. Not sure. Okidogi could be cool. It'll be weird against their Okidogi though. Maybe I'm playing it a little too oddly with the... yeah, I think I should just do Grimmsnarl, Ogerpon, and then I think Amogus in the back deals pretty well. Once I have a screen up, I can wall everything and get a Spore off. So, switch my game plan up a little bit. I do want to get a battle where I'm just spamming Choice Specs Fire Wrath. Haven't been able to do that quite yet. I think it is a... it's definitely situational, but this one might be one of the teams we're able to do it effectively against. Just have to worry about the Okidogi. I wonder if I'll need my Terastallization for anything. Maybe I'll want the Terra Rock to deal with the Incineroar on my Ogerpon. It's hard to say. So it is Zapdos. Oh boy. Okay, Zapdos Moltres. Or Zapdos Articuno. We actually have all 3 of the Kanto 3, just in different forms some of the time. Don't want to get Thunderbolted here. I feel like this is actually maybe the freest Terra Dark, Choice Specs, Fire Wrath plus Light Screen I've ever seen. This is guaranteed to hit KO on both, even with Terras, I think. They'd have to go Terra Fairy on their Galarian-Moltres, which I think is, you know, non-zero, but still pretty unlikely. Yep, Terra Normal? I guess that is immune to Ghost types and makes you neutral to the Fire Wrath, but I'm still confident we take a 2-hit KO here. I think they need to Eerie Impulse with their Zapdos and maybe Thunder Wave or Thunderbolt paralyze me. I feel solid about this lead though. I think this is exactly the situation you want your Moltres into. It's already so bulky, we're getting a screen up against 2 special attackers. And now we get to cook. Let's see how much damage this does. Oh, it is Eerie Impulse. That's such a bummer. Okay, this still should do a lot of damage. Hyper Voice, that's so interesting. I didn't know it got that. Or, I guess I knew it got that, but oh my god, the damage is just not there from them. Throat Spray, sure, fair enough. They'll do a little bit more damage next turn, but my Grimmsnarl, I feel pretty confident just going for Spirit Breaks in the following turns. Yeah, we're still doing a good chunk, truthfully, and we can whittle down their... I could Thunder Wave. I think Spirit Break is better, though. Because I'm not taking a ton of damage from them. Eerie Impulse is, like, limited effectiveness. Yeah, they are going for Eerie Impulse, but every one they go for is, like, less effective. Right now I'm at half special attack, now I'm at a third, which I think damage would be more valuable for them there. Okay, never mind. They get a crit on the Grimmsnarl, going through Light Screen, which is annoying for sure. Yeah, I'm doing not a lot of damage, but the Spirit Break here is of note, for sure. And now, as a parting gift, I think Ooh, I forgot about that. That was not great on my part. Definitely a misstep, for sure. But I don't think it matters because we can just Thunder Wave them. But yeah, we did give them a free +1 attack, special attack. That's my bad. That crit is really annoying because otherwise I could just KO it with a Spirit Break here. Definitely would have switched the sequencing on that. Thunderbolt, finally. And no crit. And they give us a Berserk boost. That might be the damage we need to knock them out. We'll see. If we can flinch them, that's also super good. Okay, we crit their Zapdos, so a crit for a crit, fair enough. This wasn't quite the Choice Specs battle I had in that, or the Choice Specs spread I had in mind, but we still do get to show off the... One of the main draws of this combo is the Thunder Wave Paraflinch with the insane bulk to just ensure that you're going to be able to go for it multiple turns in a row. So we now are at -3 on the Galarian-Moltres, which is annoying, but not the worst. Okay. Totally fine with Moltres coming in, or the Incin coming in, because I think we still do just have Fire Wrath, Spirit Break. Should I go for Reflect? I don't think so. I think that nets them in double KO, potentially. Yeah, they're going to fake out the Grim. We are going to live on 1 HP, which... I don't know, I might have wanted to switch out there, but we still get to attack with the Fire Wrath and knock them out. I think losing the Moltres there could have, or losing either would have been solid here because I get the Ogerpon in and the free Ivy Cudgel, but we do get to scout out their last Pokemon, which I imagine loses to Amoonguss Ogerpon regardless, but we do at least get the knowledge. Okidogi, actually one of the things that could beat me. So if I had lost my Moltres, I could have lost there. That's pretty scary. Okay. I think I'd Reflect with the Grimmsnarl here 100%. And switch into the Amoonguss and then maybe get a Spore off into Okidogi later on. This actually could have been pretty bad. I'm realizing now that I locked in pretty hard on the Choice Specs mode and completely forgot I needed to preserve the Moltres for the Air Slash. So if they had gone for Flare Blitz last turn, I could have been in some trouble, but they Drain Punch me here, and they Flare Blitz the wrong Pokemon. They wouldn't have knocked me out with the Aqua Berry, of course, would have done maybe like 40% after the Reflect, maybe less. But now we're in a really solid spot where we bring in the Ogerpon, and we get to Spore the Okidogi and Ivy Cudgel knockout Incin. So I'm delaying bringing in the Moltres here because I want the Okidogi asleep and just able to be Air Slashed before I do it, because Air Slash can of course miss, so I want to be able to Rage Powder as effectively and as often as possible. And them being asleep, oh, okay. Very glad I didn't bring in the Moltres and like go set up for an Ivy Cudgel Air Slash option, because I could have lost off that. Still could lose, but I think it's unlikely. Taunt, okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. That's fine. Should I switch out Moltres? Maybe, maybe not. I think we 1v1 them still, is the thing. Like if they go for a Drain Punch or a Gunk Shot into my Amoonguss and knock out my Moltres, I think with Amoonguss, as long as they're not Protect Incineroar, I still should beat them with Amoonguss Ogerpon. Okidogi is bulky, but having to deal with the Amoonguss before, like through Reflect, I still think I can just go to Ivy Cudgels, Spores, Rage Powders, etc. They do knock off the specs, but at this point, I don't think it matters. Yeah, at this point, Air Slash should be good. Follow Me Air Slash seems solid. Yeah, I expected a knockout, not a knockoff. And Air Slash, okay, that's a 2-hit KO, so as long as we hit our attacks, we just have to Rage Powder. I did want to get into a position where it was Ogerpon plus Amoonguss, not Moltres, because even though 95 accuracy is close to 100, it's not 100, so it's within the realm of possibility to lose this still. I don't think there's safety goggles, so we should be fine in that regard. Does this thing learn Rock Slide? That could be annoying. Yeah, I do just assume they don't have a spread move and Rage Powder Air Slash until we win. Because no Protect, otherwise I would have gone like Spiky Shield, Spore, and just gone for Rage Powders on the Ogerpon side of the end game. But yeah, they're not safety goggles, so we should have this cleaned up pretty consistently. We needed to only hit one Air Slash. If we hit it the first time, now we can just go for a Dark Pulse. Which is stronger? Oh, interesting. Fire Wrath is actually stronger. Single target. That should be it, though. Yeah, they do cancel out, so not quite the Choice Specs Moltres game I imagined, but still did the trick. Still KO'd both of the lead Pokemon and closed it out after switching away from the Dark type move. I feel like they kind of tunnel visioned in on their mode as well, because they did have Fire Wrath switch-ins in the back, right? After the Eerie Impulse. They just didn't want to give up Throat Spray boost, which is understandable, but ultimately did not prove to be an effective strategy for them. Okay, very standard team from my opponent, contrary to what we have been seeing, but I think we have a solid matchup here, actually. So they have the Urshifu. I think it's typically Surging Strikes on these sort of teams. Rillaboom, Ogerpon, likely Swords Dance, Incineroar, Landorus could be sub, and the Raging Bolt, which is oftentimes... we're not the Terra Fairy one. Terra Fairy Clear Smog Amoonguss was a innovation that popped up a lot at the UIC to beat Calm Mind. Raging Bolt. But we'll see here. Screen solid against most of their Pokemon, but not all. I think we could honestly go Moltres here and then force them to Terrastalize their Raging Bolt. That seems pretty solid to me. In the face of all the Choice Specs damage. Amoonguss would be reasonably solid, I think, as well. Yeah. Thunder Wave, of course, is good, but I could go Okidogi as well. I just don't want to be too weak to the Lando on lead, truthfully, so I think I'm going to go Amoonguss as my lead. I want Okidogi for sure, and I feel like Ogerpon is decent in the back for me over Grimmsnarl. Like, screens later in the game is valuable, but also going for Power Whip to knock out the Urshifu, Ivy Cudgel to beat the other Ogerpon is solid for sure, and then Ivy Cudgel is just solid chip damage into the rest of their Pokemon. If I can get a little chip on everything, Terra, Rock, Ivy Cudgel does clear the way. But it's just a question of, can I execute that? And I think Moltres is generally solid at that. And I guess Amoonguss made me a little weak in all actuality against... If they let Ogerpon here, it could have been a little dicey, actually. But they didn't, which is all good. I think Air Slash is like a pretty solid play to lock into instead of... Yeah, So what I want to do here is Fiery Wrath, actually, and switch into the Okidogi. It's a little weird, but I feel like Fake Out Surging Strike is not that likely from the Okidogi into the Moltres, because I can just easily Rage Powder. So I feel like U-turn is more likely. Yep, U-turn does come out, so I could have Pollen Puffed myself back to full, but I expect Incin to come out here or something like that, Incin or Ogerpon. So I wanted to be proactive against that. But I could have just Pollen Puffed myself up there or Spored the switch in, but I think Ogerpon in the back is likely. They are thinking now they might have been trying to get the Incin in, truthfully, or the Ogerpon, but we'll see. This would have been a situation where, yeah, the Ogerpon does come out, fair enough. Doing a ton of damage. They are threatening a lot of damage here, for sure. I am super duper threatened, but I do have a Gunk Shot into the Amoonguss with a fair amount of ease. I think I'm going to go for a Fiery Wrath plus A. Honestly, Terra Dragon Gunk Shot is tempting.
I think that's what I'm gonna. I think I will lock into the gunk shot here. Into. Oh boy. Knockoff's pretty good too. Just knock off their item right off the bat because they might want to U-turn here. I'm not sure. I think I'll gunk shot though. I think the Rillaboom, yeah, they switch out. So knockoff would have been better if the Urshifu comes in, but at the end of, at the same time, oh yeah, this is really valuable damage as well if I hit. Terra Dragon could be dicey. They can't knock out my Okidogi here, but they can knock out my Moltres, of course, which might be in their best interest. They've got it low, they don't have to worry about Berserk, but I don't know, we'll see. I think if I can get the gunk shot off, I'll be in decent shape though against the Raging Bolt, because then I can bring in Ivy Cudgel. If they aren't max speed, we get the free Ivy. If they are max speed, we are risking a Thunderclap plus a Ivy Cudgel speed tie, basically. We've made ourselves weak to Dragon Pulse, that is worth noting, but I think that's worth it to guarantee that we get the... Oh, Swords Dance does not feel correct from them, in my opinion. Because we are doing a ton of damage here. Yeah, Fire Wrath. Poison as well, just adding insult to injury. Gunk Shot when you hit, that is quite the move. So we're going to chip that down severely. Everything is looking pretty weak. We have to confirm the speed tiers though. Oh, they're faster on the Raging Bolt. That's really... Oh no, they're not faster. We just haven't taken damage yet on the Okidogi. Feel like we live a Cudgel. So what I want to do here is Fire Wrath. Probably switch. I think this is just Fire Wrath. Drain Punch. So they can't drain... Yeah, probably just Fire Wrath, Drain Punch you. There's not a whole lot of risk to that. I could knock off. I feel like knockoff confirms a KO and also gets rid of an item on potentially Urshifu, which seems high value, but I could also appreciate the health from the Drain Punch. Yep, Spiky Shield from that guy makes a ton of sense, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, they expect to outspeed with the Raging Bolt. Not sure what they were hoping to accomplish there. I could see Rillaboom trying to threaten with Fake Out. That would make a lot of sense to me, but I do have upper hand to stop that, and I might... I don't know if I commit to that, truthfully. Urshifu could be a good call from them. Yeah, that would make sense. Because I'm locked into Fire Wrath, which isn't a 2-hit KO. Yeah, Urshifu makes sense. They can double up Close Combat Ivy Cudgel into my Moltres to knock that out. I think I should get Moltres out pretty soon. I think I'm just going to go into a Mungus and go for a... Probably knockoff into Urshifu. Gunk Shot might just knock out their Ogerpon, so I think I will just rip that. If I were them in this situation, I think I would be doubling into the doubling Close Combat Ivy Cudgel into my Ogerpon though, so that's what I'm expecting to happen here. Not into my Ogerpon, into my Okidogi. And they do confirm the Choice Scarf, which I think was pretty readily apparent before, but now they are lowering their special defense. And ooh, it was Ivy Cudgel into the Amoonguss. That's interesting. I guess that makes sense, but I kind of don't agree at the same time. Yeah, they knocked me out through the Ockerberry after the Swords Dance, effectively dealing with that. But if I get this gunk shot off, I'm in good shape. We do connect. Okay, that's really good. I feel like that's a knockout. Yeah. We get the crit, but given the damage we did to the much bulkier Raging Bolt on switch in, I think that was a knockout anyways. And now, they are locked into Close Combat, which is good for me, kind of. Because what I can do here is go for Upper Hand Ivy Cudgel. Surely I live a Close Combat on Moltres, right? I think so. I'm going to run a Calc, though. I think my switch in is Moltres and go for Upper Hand plus... Moltres has how much bulk on this team? 196, 12 defense. I feel like I live that. I'm pretty sure I live a close combat. I'm not sure. Okidogi could be a little safer here, honestly. But I think we can just upper hand them. We haven't revealed that yet. Adamant, close combat versus Moltres. That is the wrong Moltres, of course. I want Moltres Galar. Sorry for running the calc and maybe clickety-clacking my keys in the background, but... Ooh, close combat actually... They'd need to low roll if they're max attack. Oh, if they're adamant, they actually knock out. Yeah, this was a misplay for sure. Okay, that's not good by any means, but... Yeah, bungled this endgame for sure. Because Okidogi, I don't know. So I can go for upper hand. They do end up going for a fake out or something like that. But yeah, they close combat into the Okidogi, so we do have a 95% chance to hit them here with the air slash. But if they close combated the Moltres and made that read, they could have knocked me out with like reasonably high likelihood. If they are max attack, which most Choice Scarf Urshifu are. We do miss, unfortunate. Okay. Yeah, that's really bad, but maybe not the end of the world. They lose grassy terrain, which is solid. They won't have priority anymore. Yeah, missing the air slash is bad. I think I guess if we were going to miss the air slash, we would have missed the power whip as well. That's okay. I think at this point we do need to probably live the close combat. I'm going to double into the Urshifu. I just have to hit the power whip essentially. And live on one of these guys. Yeah, there's the CC into the Moltres. Oh, I could have followed me. I'm dumb. Yeah, that was a bad play. Yeah, I could have followed me. That's super silly of me. I guess... I can still win if I hit, and they... Depending on their moveset, I guess. Because I can Spiky Shield. They have to know that you can self-target. Yeah, this was a misplay, I think. I win this game a majority of the time if I just follow me there instead. Surely they're in range of Ivy Cudgel, right? Surely they're in range, right? You gotta be hopeful. No bulk. I feel like I'm what? Not 196, 188 attack? I am calc pilled right now for sure. Jolly 188 versus Rillaboom. God, it's such a strong attack. I should have this, yeah. I'm going to Spiky Shield for security. I don't think Rillaboom learns Feint. They have to have Substitute. But yeah, this was a misplay. The previous turn, what I should have gone for was Follow Me Air Slash. This ends up being the same, like, endgame, where I just have, but a lot less secure. Because I needed to hit the 85% accurate Power Whip instead of going for Follow Me, tanking both hits and going down with the Ogerpon, and then having to hit the Air Slash into the Urshifu, which is just 10% more accurate, obviously, so a bit of a endgame mismanagement there, but it ends up being okay because all the damage they take from the Wood Hammer. I think if they go Grassy Glide, or even like U-turn before they go for that, they have a chance, because then I need to probably get the Spiky Shield read on them attacking into me to get them in range for the Ivy Cudgel. But yeah, slightly mismanaged endgame by me. Looking at the battle from start to finish, I think switching out the Amoonguss was a mistake on that first turn. I think Spore was pretty free, or Pollen Puff into myself was pretty free. They didn't have a lot that they could do about that, and then I could have gone for a just an Air Slash Spore or something into their Ogerpon the next turn, really surprised them potentially, or spored the Rillaboom on an obvious switch out. So I think switching out was really aggressive on Incineroar coming in, like being proactive about that, but that didn't end up being their bring. So yeah, I'm not even sure if the lead was correct. It felt very weak to Ogerpon, so I think the game plan approach on that battle was pretty weak, actually. I'm not sure what I would have done differently. Maybe go for a Bronzong angle or go for screens. I'm not sure, but I think that ended up being a little more precarious than it should have been. I think that was that's a matchup that Teemu Dareth obviously had a pretty solid run of beating in the tournament. So I think that was like the game plan there from me. I would be curious to see what his game plan is. I think he was shown on stream. So something I'll probably look at after the battle. So that will do it for our battles today, featuring Dareth96, 25th place at the EUIC team. It's just a really solid team from what I've played. I really did like the Okidogi on this team the most. The Moltres is definitely strong, but Screens plus Okidogi is such a difficult combination for particularly Japanese balance teams to handle. Everything but the Landorus has a horrible time through Reflect dealing with this outside of I guess, the Urshifu, and you can even tear a dragon out of that. So I feel like that was really impressive. Didn't get to see the Bronzong shine too much, but the Ogerpon, the Moltres, the Amoonguss definitely pulled their weight. So really excited. Enjoyed these battles a ton. If you enjoyed them, please subscribe to the channel. If you want to use the team that we used today, I have the Poke Paste in the description below, as well as the rental code provided by Dareth himself.